In this lesson, we're going to be introducing scoring. So let's set up a variable, a global variable, to hold our score. We're going to have our score at 0 by default. And when we start the game, we want to make sure that we are resetting that score back to 0. So set it back to 0. And now that we've got our match, we want to make sure that every time that they're doing a guess, so every time that they press this checker button, the button to check the combination, our score is increasing. So that means that the amount of tries that they're taking in order to render out this content. Also, just above, I'm going to create a brand new div, give it a class of message, and this is where we can provide information to the player. And for now, we'll type in guess combo in there. And we can update this message. So selecting it into a JavaScript object using our document and query selector. Selecting the element via the class. So make sure that we put the dot there in order to indicate that it is a class that we're accessing. So now we've got our ability to send information back to the player. So as we loop through, I'm going to get rid of some of these console messages because we don't need them anymore. As we loop through all of the different combinations, we check to see if there's a match. We want to output some value. And if there is a match, then we're going to take that value of whatever numbers. So selecting that object, we're going to apply a style, and we can do background color. And if it is correct, how about we set the background color to green? Go out and try that out. Press start, check combo. They all go green because, of course, we know that we are guessing properly. We can also update the value of the color as well. So doing color, and we can turn this to white. So it looks a little bit better and it stands out. So try that one more time, guess the combination, and we got those right. Again, guess the combination, and we're not doing anything different. We're not setting it any different color. So let's go down here where we've got no match, and we're gonna check to see if it's larger or smaller, and then depending on what the condition is, if it's larger or smaller, we're gonna update the background color. So let's set a value of color. And we're going to use a ternary operator in this case. So we're going to check to see if this value is less than whatever the value of correct is. And if it is, then we're going to return back a value of blue. Otherwise, we're going to return back a value of red. So try that out. And instead of doing the color green, let's add one more line here. I'll make this bigger because, of course, we are running out of space here. So now all we have to do is update the value of color here. And by default, I'm always going to set it to be black. So instead of white, it will be black. So whenever it's wrong, it will be black. So try that out and refresh. And check the combo so it goes green. Check the combo so it goes blue. So that means that the number is larger. Red, that we've gone too high and the number is too high. So as we generate and we make the checks until we get it green, then we know that everything is correct. So one more thing that we should do, and this is going to be our win. And right now, our win condition will be 0. And as we loop through, we want to make sure that if the win condition is going to increase every time we get one correct. So win condition is going to increment by 1 every time it's correct. And then after we've finished doing the loops, this is the way that we're going to tell if the player made the guess correctly. And then this is where we restart the game. So we're going to do a quick check to see if win condition is equal to whatever the value of numbers, and always think that we need to make it dynamic as possible. So if these are equal, then that means that the game is won. Retry that one more time. So we get that, and we see that game is over. If I update that, then no longer we're seeing the game over. So we can see that it's doing the checker, no match, no match. When we go to 2 or a 1, and back to a 0, we see that game over. So that is functioning properly. And that's the next thing that we need to do is initiate that game over function. as well as we can update the guess combo and number of guesses as well, because we are incrementing the number of guesses within the score. So we can update that. So updating the value of message, selecting the inner HTML guesses, and this is going to be equal to whatever the value of score is. So start, and we have guesses 1, guesses 2, guesses 3, guesses 4, and the objective is to guess it in as little guesses as possible. And so red is too high and blue is too low, and it's up to the player to determine if they've guessed it properly. So coming up next, we're going to have to set some win conditions and have the ability to reset and start the game once more. So go ahead and add in the win conditions, update the background colors. You might want to select different colors other than ones that I have, and this can all go into instructions for the player how to play the game as they're guessing the combination. So coming up next, we'll do a quick overview and an end of the game, and then also a review of the source code. So that's still to come.